Hi everybody, it's time to celebrate. All right, here's where we're going with this today. We are going to make this family celebration board, and these are so much fun because they tell you all the anniversaries. I'm going to show you how to do really cool fake plank wood. We're going to do some drop shadowing, which made the project, and I'm going to show you out stencil organization as well. So I hope that you have a good time. Hi guys, I hope that you are ready to learn so much stuff today. I have got lessons and lessons and some organization stuff to show you and some giveaways, which we'll talk about right now. Facebook, if you're catching us on Facebook, then you are at noon p.m. and 9 p.m. is our lives on Facebook every Tuesday. And then if you don't make it on Tuesday, come and check us out on YouTube. You can find the live videos anytime. The prizes are on Tuesday though, so you want to stay tuned for those. And you got to like, share, and comment. That's how you get entered. And then we are doing a stencil giveaway. This is our grand prize, and this is great for wedding gifts and housewarming and things like that. And we painted a sample with this one, and we did it with a metallic on black. Isn't that kind of sharp? Can you see the reflection? Love that. So you're going to like, share, and comment. And then we have a really wonderful, this comes from the sewing world. We call it a ghostwriter. We've shown it on a couple of other lives that we've done. This one is a single one, and then we have a triple one. But we're giving away 2 of the singles. And then let me show you real quick how that works. They come with refill leads, and they are soapstone, and they mark on fabric. But they also mark on your project. So if I wanted to just, oops, I break that off. You just pump it to get it to go, and you can just make a little, smiley. Then you can take water, and you can erase your lines. Super handy if you're making a lot of lines. We're going to use this today. It's so amazing. You will love this product. Anyway, we're giving away 2 of these, so like, share, and or comment, and get entered. Okay. Oh, and when you are within 7 days of winning, so you want to check back tomorrow to see if you won. And then you give us our address, and then you do that within 7 days. Otherwise, we can't keep track of it. So if you want to be the winner, then you have to check back the next day and let us know what your address is so that we can tell you. Okay, so let's get started. Our project today is noisy and big. This is a celebration board. And so I love the muted colors of these instead of just the raw wood. I love that you can take a oil-based paint Sharpie, and you can write your things right on there. Get the person with the good handwriting. That's what I did. And you can mark them. And then the little hearts are for the anniversary dates. And this is so special for grandparents and moms and just aunts and uncles and all the things. You want to let them know that these are all their people, and you can put friends on there. You could color code friends versus, family members and stuff like that. The anniversaries of the hearts. So we have this available on our website at studior12.com. And then this is super fun. This is the part that's going to be really amazing today. Is I wanted this to look like planks. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to paint that with planks. We're going to do cool stuff with tape. And let's get started. I'm going to put this down because it's big and heavy. Okay, so I have my board already prepped. Let me get this out of the way. Remember to like, share, and comment to be entered to win. And so to begin with, how are you going to make straight planks? Well, you're going to need some straight tools. So I got me a 18-inch T-square, and we've got our triple thread. I like the triple thread one because it has a white lead, a gray lead, and a stylus, and it comes with an eraser on the back end. So that will do if you don't want to use water, you can use the eraser to erase it. Okay, get the right one done up. Now, what I've done, when I did my example, I measured equally and did a thing. Well, not being very smart, I didn't realize that I should just go ahead where my dates are. So the stencil comes with dates. Grab them. Stencil comes with the months of the year. And so what I did is I just moved it up just a little bit. And I made a little mark everywhere. And you could do it, I guess, just evenly, but some of these seem like they're maybe placed differently. So I wanted to make sure. On my example, I ended up stenciling right in between a couple of the planks. And I know that I'm a fairly carefree person. I know that there are some people that would drive nuts, and so I figured I'd do it right for the video. All right, so then we're gonna use our T-square, and we're just going to make our line, and see how wonderfully bright that is. And go across and make our lines. This is a project that is gonna help you make like different wood grains and stuff like that. You're gonna love doing this because there's some forgiveness and some magic that happens when you just layer and paint it till it's pretty. I literally got to the end of this project and I took it and showed, like we have a team of people that work here, so I took it out and showed everybody. I'm not gonna do every one of these, I'm just gonna get us started. I took it out and I was like, why is this ugly? You know, I don't like it. And all it needed, it was drop shadow. And then it popped. And it was so funny to watch it pop just because of something simple. So is there an example of something that you painted? Once I painted a tray and it had white roses and I painted them too bright and it was ugly until I darkened the roses and then it was beautiful. Do you have examples of that for yourself? Oh, hey, glasses. And then of course, tell us where you're from. All right, because we're answering your questions live, so if you have any questions about what we're doing, this tape is what I call stretchy tape, and it does neat things. The thinner it is, this is the 1/8 inch, you can actually tape curves because it stretches. So if you have something that you need to tape that is on a round, then this is the tape for you. And then it kind of, you can see that it's stretched out. Okay, so, but because it's 1/8 inch, that means that I can tape the grout lines. So I'm gonna make really straight grout lines and not have to be super precise to do it and not waste a bunch of big tape and not wait for things to dry. Oops, hey, not long enough, whoopsie. Yeah, they have to go from end to end or it's not right. So make them a little longer. But then I found if I got them too long, that I didn't like the ends hanging out. Okay, so, and then always, I like to do what I call a thumbnail bray. I take my thumb and just on my thumbnail and just go along the line, and that usually gets that tape squinched down. On my painted sample, I did the taping right after I did the base coating, and my paint peeled and lifted up right away. So you wanna be careful to let it dry. I let it dry overnight. So yes, even us professionals push the limits. I read a great thing in a gardening book that said, if you're not breaking the rules 20% of the time, you're not trying hard enough. So I think I pass. Whoops, and then I throw the tape. Okay, so we get this going. I'll tape a couple more. There's a lot of variation in the different colors, so I'm gonna make sure that I get you the examples of them. Okay. Tell us what the weather's doing where you're at and tell us where you're from. And we've got people all over the world watching this. I think it's just amazing to reach out and teach people. One thing that our current weird world has given us is the ability to communicate with people across many mediums and platforms. Okay, now I'm gonna braid these down. Okay. Get them all stuck. Move my cup. We have Studio R12 tumblers. And it has all of our cool hashtags that we say when we're on the lives here. Okay, let's get started. So we are going to do the gray color first. For the gray, we're gonna go with some black. Always shake your paints up. And we're gonna use a creamy, beachy, kind of sandy color. This taupey taupey tanny color is making me really happy on this project. I use it to kind of generally tone everything. And this is a kind of paint intensive project. I'm gonna go ahead and put out the white because I do the white on all of the things. Okay, gonna use our poly foam brush. The foam brushes, these are the ones that are, so if you're like me, I was a foam brush snob. So see how I'm pushing on this and it's barely bending? It's not because it's not spongy, it's because this dowel actually goes halfway in and then it has a plastic piece to support. So it's a great baser. And I'm gonna get you, yeah, we'll just do that. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're going to dirty brush dip. We're gonna go into our black, into our cream, and then we're just going to dry brush, hit and miss. This is a layers game, okay? And when we get next to our edge right there, what we wanna do is turn our foam brush sideways and just kind of get right on top of it. What I found to keep things clean was I took my T-square and I put that right next to my line, and then it was my mask. Neat. Okay, so then we dry brush streak. And as we move on down the line, we'll come back to this over and over again with different techniques. As you dirty your T-square, you can use rubbing alcohol at the end to take off the paint, but you don't want it to get anything else dirty, so just wipe it off as you go. Okay, now we're gonna go into the brown. That's gonna be this kind of rusty, rustic gold. And we're gonna go into a very dark brown. Okay, and I'm going to dirty brush dip, and we're going to make our gold. Now, because I dirty brush dipped, I can't go backwards with this and go into the silvery gray because it'll turn everything muddy, but to have the gray in this color is fine. Okay. So tell us what's on your painting table right now. Put it in the chat. We'd love to hear from you guys. And we have had the most interesting experience with YouTube. Has been super fun for us lately because we're getting like a super volume of videos and stuff like that. If you guys can like it, if you like our channel and do that little like thing on there, super helpful for us. It just shows YouTube that people are engaged. So, and it's the other thing, this is a small business request. I feel maybe slightly guilty asking for it, but if you can review products, that is super helpful for any small business out there. I'm gonna run way down here and get another brown one going. Yeah, you all know how we like on Amazon, we like to have those reviews so that we can tell if it's a good product or not, or if the company's any good. So that's what it does for us. It gives us credibility. And then speaking of Amazon, some of the links that are below, we have affiliate links with Amazon so that you guys can find the products that we are using that we don't carry. So make sure you check those out in the underneath. Okay, so that's muddy to me. So I'm gonna pick up some brown. I'm gonna brown it up a little. I'm gonna go over here and kiss on that a little bit. And then I'll pick up just gold and skim. I dance the most with the gold. All right, I'm gonna put my brush in water, and I tend to push on it to get it saturated with water. And then we're gonna go into gray and do some more of the grays. Okay, does this scare anybody? I'm very curious about that. Sometimes when you have like the dry brushing and stuff, this is a great way to try your dry brushing. If you wanted to do all gray or seafoam colors for like beachy colors and stuff like that, that would be super pretty. Okay, go over here. Some of the other videos that we have online you might be interested in too. We have Ask Carrie. Carrie is one of our staff, and she takes your questions from our lives, and then she puts together a show where we answer those questions for you live. And and you get the answers. Like, it's a whole segment for that. And that's on our YouTube channel. Okay, so we're just blending these colors. And I'm looking to see, the most important thing right now is foundation. You want to get your foundation, and then we go back and we dance back and forth into the colors. I'm going to pick up some brown and some of the cream. And this will be a more brown board. You could do a whole clock with planks. Okay, and sideways to do the thing. All right, so how many of you struggle with organizing your stencils? Because once you're a stencil person, right, you have a lot of stencils. So today, while this paint dries, I'm going to show you some ways to organize your stencils. So we'll get one on here that's lighter. If you do one light one on this piece, it's going to catch your eye, so you want to be careful to tone it back down. So I can do this like in a sandier gray, but I'm going to have to darken it. So I'll pick up some brown and make it a brownie board instead of a gray board. Okay, so see how that's toned and it has a pretty good flow. So I'm going to move these aside, and I'm going to show you the stencil organization ideas while they dry. Okay, so here we go. You ready? There's some interesting things here. All right, so the way that we do this here is we actually use these little hang tabs. I think they're called C tabs or something like that. We hang these on something like, it's a metal bar, and it's not gonna work on that, it's too big. But it's a metal bar that you hang them on, and it's like angle iron or something like that, and you just stretch it from one end to the other. And then we put numbers and alphabetize these by their titles. Or by their numbers, actually. But these little scrapbooky note things, a lot of our small pattern stencils have a little circle cut out in them. And so you can actually put all of your pattern stencils on one little tab, and that organizes it. So that's one way. And then you've seen me with this lots of times, the little 4x4s. These are amazing. And you can keep these handy so that you can always just embellish a little bit anywhere where you want it. The problem comes in if you don't do this technique where you can hang them. The problem comes in, what do you do if you have a big pile of stencils? So I have a really cool solution for you. Okay, so it starts with a special hole punch, and these little rings. And these are, they're disc journals. I think that's what they're calling them, disc journals. And they're super popular. I went to a family reunion, and a 70-year-old family member had one in a journal. A 7-year-old had one. The 30-year-olds had one. Like, everybody had these disc journals. And I thought, well, that's the coolest thing. But I thought, how unstable is that? That's just going to fall apart. Well, they don't. It's the most amazing. And they had like thick journals. So these little rings have a special punch, and I'm going to show you that. This is just a hole punch. So this will be linked below. That'll be one of those affiliate links. And you can order these in all colors. And did I bring the... Can somebody grab me the box? I think it got left on the table. So these turn like a book. Is that not the most magical thing in the entire universe? Now, say you needed to put the word coffee on something. Then you go to your copy word, and you just pull it out, and that's what the detail looks like. Okay? It's on the far, is it over there? It's a brown box? Did it, it moved to the middle table. Sorry, we'll figure it out. Thank you. See, when you ask Carrie, she answers. Okay, so this is a box of a bunch of different sizes. So they come in 2-inch, 3-inch, or probably 2.5, 1.5. And then these little guys, they come with holes in them, and they come without holes. They come in a million colors. There's links below. I ordered a box of 100 because I figured I'd want them. And then that's what that hole punch does. It does that, and it does that much of it. You don't need to have these in every hole. for them to work. So you can just have some holes. So you can take them out. You can color code it. You can do all kinds of fun things with it. When you're done, it literally just pops right back into place. I think I hear the sound of hippie noodles blowing. I think that this is a game changer to be able to flip through your stencils like that and then keep them all nice and organized. They don't fall apart, they don't fall down. So I hope that that is helpful for somebody. Okay, so let's get back to our project. And in the future, we will be showing more like physical stencil storage, so that it's like it's a thing, right? It's hard to actually figure out some stuff. I've got some really neat ideas. I'm gonna hit the blow dryer so it'll be a little loud. Okay. And P.S., putting a hook on your painting table for your blow dryer is magic. It really, really is a game changer. Okay, so now we have to deepen these up and make them look more real. Okay, so back to a foam brush. Foam brush is really, because it doesn't flop and it'll do that drag, that's what makes this like way easier to do. Like if I had to, use a big brush like this, I would end up with like a lot of volume. This allows me just to scratch in one little thin scratch. So it's amazing. It's an amazing brush. I never thought I'd talk about freaking foam brushes before. Craziness. Okay, so let's get some streaking going on here. Let's go into our cream. And I'm gonna do it kind of dry, so I'm just pouncing off over here on the palette paper. And we'll get some streaks. And so that's gonna start our wood grain. If you don't like something, I don't like that right there, there's a couple things you can do. Take your paper towel, wipe it away while it's fresh, okay? If you can't get it all off, you can do the click eraser trick. So these are PVC erasers. Dip it into water, and then I can erase fresh paint with it. Okay? So you can just keep going until you get it all. It's an amazing little lifesaver. If you stencil something and you get let's see if I'm gonna take another project. Say you stencil and you didn't listen to me and you used too much paint and you didn't wipe off on your paper towel and you bled under. You can peek and then take this, spit on it, just don't like sanitize it before you give it to somebody, and you can just erase right next to your lettering and get rid of any of your bleed marks. Isn't that magic? Okay. And speaking of which, I have some other personalized. This is a personalized project, and we have like so many personalized projects. And the magic of personalization is like you can go to any store and you can buy anything that says everybody's whatever, like welcome home. But if you say welcome to the Sanderson house, then it's special. I think it's a deal changer, a game changer for gift giving and that kind of thing. I've got some brown. Okay, so I like that. That's got a nice streak. So then I'm gonna go along. And as I'm doing this, I'm just gonna bounce around and give kisses of color to all the different things. And it's gonna show up differently on each one. Go into that gray, dirty brushing. Ooh, ooh, ugly. Okay, but we're not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna let that dry. I'll show you what to do about it. Yep. And so what am I doing? I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing is I did not pounce off over here. And I'm just catching big blobs. So if I wanna, I'll let this one dry and I'll show you what I would do with this one right away, is I'll just back it down. You can also sand. So I could go ahead and give it some sanding and that'll scratch through it and even it out. So now, that's better. So gotta kind of pounce over here or you'll leave a big blob. Yeah, see how that makes such a difference? That's much more even. Gonna go into black, dirty brushing. Okay, get that. It's amazing how much color, look at that black is almost gone. Oops, and what did I do? I didn't do this. So, I'm gonna give myself some grace and say that I can't talk and chew gum at the same time, but you need to pounce off over here, otherwise you're not gonna have control. A little bit of that. And if you notice, it's happening in the same spot along the board. So what's happening is as I'm lifting, it's making that little channel right there. So what you do about that, I'm discovering with you, what you do about that is you take your arm and you don't lift until you get over here. Okay, so you keep the same pressure. Don't start lifting at the end of your project so you don't dig in, okay? So I'm glad that I figured that out. That's actually one of the things I like to do the most with painting and teaching painting is show you that I mess up and then show you how to fix it. And then try to figure out why. Okay, so we'll just skim all the way along. And then sometimes if you find that you're catching the same place, so like I did that again there, sometimes your paint is still wet there and that will catch the paint. Wet attracts wet. So if you're catching in the same place, hit the blow dryer for a second and make sure that it's not just that. And then if you are and you're frustrated by it, let it dry and sand it, it'll be fine. Okay, so let's fix this guy. I'm gonna dry him just so that I can show you like a real fix. Okay, and I use the heat on the blow dryer. I am a big heat with blow dryer fan. Okay, we'll take some black. And I think I'm actually gonna pounce over here just a little bit. I'm gonna move off to the side so I get my arm enough room. And we're going to streak back and forth and just put some makeup on it. There we go. So already better. Okay, so that's how you fix that. And then I did some things over here that, let's pull this guy forward just a little bit so you can see on the down shot. I did some of this next to the edge, like almost like a little edge shading. So let me show you that. These boards are so stinking cool. You would not believe, my granddaughters are enamored with these things. Like they are, let's see, I think 16 and 18, 19. And they are just like all over it. I was kind of shocked. Okay, so this would be a really good time. I'm gonna show you the antiquing, but I think I'm gonna show you that after I show you the sponge. So you can get some kind of distressed, gnarly stuff going if you use a sea sponge and wring that out really well. And sometimes you can use foot-pounds of pressure and step on it. And that gets it nice and wrung out. Okay, so then I always look for the most interesting pockets, and sometimes I rip them open and make them bigger. So I'll get that like that, okay? We're gonna go into, now I pick up a little teeny bit more water and get just a nice look going. Now I'm going to just dance here and there, just for some background interest. I'm not making like a pattern. I'm kind of scoochie-doochin' around. Just, you know, kind of toggle and switch and pounce and dance. Put some good music on. What do you guys listen to? What's your soundtrack when you are watching videos? No, you're not doing that. Never mind. When you're painting, that's what I meant to say. When you're watching videos, what do you listen to? Ha! Talking and chewing gum, that's gonna be my theme for today. Okay. So then we'll just bring some through the piece, kind of just like a dance twist. Now you might look at this and be like, oh my God, you've ruined it. But remember, it's a layers game. So, I promise we're getting somewhere. All right, so now we go back into foam brushes. And now we'll do that shady thing. Okay, so remember, we're like, sharing, and commenting. And if you belong to a painting group, would you mind like sharing with them? I think that they would love to know about our videos. Okay, so just on one side, see how I turned my brush slightly at an angle? Just gonna drag that, and then darker at the top and the bottom. And that gives it that little bit of edge shadow. I'll do the gray ones. And come on down. It's actually way easier to see me digging a hole right there, like making it too dark. See me fixing it with my sander? These palm sanders are amazing. They have like spikes. I don't know if you can see that. I'll show you guys here. Spikes in there that are straight on through that sandpaper. And we've got a little short video on YouTube that shows you how to use them. They are tremendous. Tremendous. I can't say enough about them. That is like most of my distressing and antiquing are done with those. It is easier to turn your board over and not go this way and this way. And in a way, I'm a little bit showing off, but for camera, it's like harder to turn it over because it's so long. So I'm just gonna keep doing it. But it is easier if you turn your board over. All right, so now we have a lot of texture, a lot of different things. Now we need to smooth it out, okay? So we're going to go dirty brush into that mushroomy color. And then we're going to just smooth things out. We'll pick up some of the sandy color. Remember, you're pouncing over on your palette. And get some streaks. It's amazing how much streaks really do help you have like just a really good even texture. Ooh, see me fixing it with my sandpaper. Yeah. Who knew that sandpaper was such a good fixer? Okay, so now we're gonna go into our browns. I'm gonna pick up Dirty Brush Brown. And streak. Yeah, a little bit of cream in there is doing a good job of toning that color. Streak again. I'm not trying to cover up the sponging. I'm trying to like have the sponging lay in the background and be chill. Okay, now we'll go here. How many of you already own one of these boards, and how many of you want to make one? You can make them all colors. There's just a million ways you can do stuff with them. Okay, go into a cream. Okay, now I am going to, well, I've got one more thing I want to show you on here. Actually, we got to do the reveal. I want to show you on the other board that's dry, because otherwise I'm going to have to dry this one, how to pick up the gold. But right now, let me show you what happens when you take the tape off. So when you take your tape off, perfectly even grouted lines. Isn't that magic? Love it. Okay, so not much care in taking this tape off because it was dry. But let me show you what I do to make the lines not be quite so regular. We're gonna go into our rake brush. I'm gonna pick up some water. And I always like to start with my rake brush. The rake brush is one of the few brushes that you get to splay completely out. Like you get to kill it, like just, okay? The more open it is, the more it'll do like all this little like crazy great stuff. Okay, so we're gonna take our rake, we're gonna get more water, go into black paint, really push on it, really hard, touch on a paper towel just to get rid of too much, and we're going to just kind of go along and try to irregularify. Like these are chipped boards, but not in the same places. And then I also took, at the very end here, I made this a pickup without so much water, blot, kind of make it look like that's broken over there. And then right here, like you've got some chips and gnarls in there. Don't make them all the same, so you want some long. You could do some grain if you wanted to do the knot thing that we did in another video. So you could totally go nutso with this if you really enjoy doing it. And then you do the same thing on the opposite side. You could do it with brown, you could do it with black. And then just make those irregular edges so that these look like they're really old boards. Okay, super fun, isn't it? I love to do wood grains and stuff. I would love to hear how many of you have done wood grain in your painting travels. I think that'd be super interesting. All right, I'm gonna take this one away. Okay, and remember that we do the live recast tonight at 9. So if you didn't get to catch us or didn't get to see the whole thing, and then later this week it'll be on YouTube. So if you want to pick back up, these are on YouTube for you guys to watch and see. You don't have to pay a fee and all that kind of stuff. So come join us and get some education about painting. Okay, this board has got all the gnarls and stuff, and then I'll show you how to deepen the gold. And then I also spattered this really heavily, and I think, let me bring this guy back and show you that, because I think I didn't spatter on my sample, and I did spatter on this, and I adore it with the spatters. So let me show you how to get the big fat spatters. So we're gonna take our brush, sorry, forgot about that. Take our brush and get nice, juicy, gunky black paint. Really soupy and really generous amount. I'll come over here and just kind of a little bit blot away. Take a big-handed, I want a heavy handle, so the big stencil brushes. And I always do one test over here to see how I am. Okay, like it nice and fat and juicy. Ready? So these should jump right down there. Hit it pretty hard, not juicy enough for me. More water. More water is fatter spatters, and less water is tiny spatters. There we go. Not enough. Good gravy. All right, ready? This is it. There we go. Yeah. That just really jazzes it up. I really just love that. Spattering is magic. All right, and that's with the same rake brush that we used to do the wood graining, okay? And we call that the White Wonder Rake. So if you're looking for that product on our website, all of that will be linked below. And then before we get going, on our personalized signs, we have some examples for you. Before we go ahead and stencil this, make sure you're liking, sharing, and commenting, and then let us know which one of these is your favorite. Okay, so this is your grandkid's name. I love that. And this is an STCL, that means Stencil 5439, and that will be linked below. And then I love showing the different painting techniques as well. Like this is so amazingly nautical. Look how we sanded through to give that really like weathered wood look. And then that navy blue on there is just magic as well. This one is STCL 5437. I love this. So these are the coordinates. And so you can get these personalized for your family. Great guy gift. The guys dig this so much. And it's good for anybody's home. It's amazing. Okay? And then how many of you are homeschooling or helping homeschooling or have kids that are homeschooling? I actually homeschooled my kids before we were told to homeschool our kids. So I know all about this. But this one is digital learning in progress. Please do not disturb unless you have wine, food, or can teach math. Isn't that great? I love that. That would be just the most amazing gift as well. And then here is Welcome to the Gibbs Homestead. The drinks are cold and the friendship's free. I love it. Okay, let's get back to our stenciling. I'm going to say something and it's going to sound really dumb, but I've done it before, so if I do it, it's possible somebody else out there might do it, so I'm warning you not to do it. There are holes in this board, and if you accidentally stencil with the holes at the top, you're going to be sad. So make sure your holes are at the bottom, and make sure your stencil is underneath the pile of samples you can show people. Okay, we're going to start with the big one, and we're going to position. And then just to be safe, we're going to tape. So I didn't do the family word with the drop shadow, but I did do the name and the months. And then I kind of did it because I didn't have, because I did the black first, I did the black first and I didn't like it. Kind of didn't slide it over and do that thing, so I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, we're gonna use a dome brush. If you are a new stenciler, let me clean up just a little bit. If you're a new stenciler, the dome brushes, sometimes they lose hairs, and if they do, just brush them out. That's a big amount of fibers to glue together, so sometimes they do fall off. If they fall off, don't pick them off until your paint is dry, and then just a light touch of sanding, or sometimes just your finger will take them right out. You want a dry paper towel folded flat, a dry dome stencil brush. The dome stencil brush is better for stenciling because when you touch and you push a little pressure on it, it doesn't splay out. It doesn't push the paint underneath your stencil. So it is supremely better. So we're gonna have some dry paint. So now you know that my paint was watery for the black. So I'm gonna take my palette paper. I love painting with a palette paper unless I'm painting with runny things, and then I like a paper plate. Ooh. Get rid of that. Get some black. Dry paint, dry brush. If you've just washed your brush, you're gonna need to wait. There's almost no way to dry these brushes and get going with them. So you're going to take your paint and do like 10 turns around the block here, just to get most of the paint wiped off. Otherwise, you're gonna push the paint under it. That's what does it. If you do too much paint, that's what's gonna kill it. You can stipple, which is this technique. These are fairly big letters. I prefer, unless I'm really trying to cover something up, I prefer to swirl, okay? And if my stencil was really loose, if there was flops places, I would stipple. So, but this is well anchored. So we'll go there, and then you just keep picking up paint. Always go back to the paper towel. And what I like about this is as you go, and you get down to here, this is dry because it's a layers game, and you can start right back over. There's no blow dryer time. So we'll get that going like that. Okay, and I'm gonna just kind of come back to the F and show you how to get it whole. There's no crime in peeking under your stencil. I'm gonna hold this down, and you can take a little peeky poo. Peeky poo. So you can see that that's very faded. So you can, I like the dome brushes because if you're doing, let me show you on this T, if I stipple this straight up and down, if you're stippling, you still need to pay attention to that paper towel. Okay, if I stipple straight up and down, let's take this up so you can see them side by side. Come on. Notice how much darker the stippling will be. So I lose a lot of control when I'm doing that. So if I need something faded, I can get it by swirling. If I need something faded with stippling, I can't. So just finish that with the stipple. Okay, and then we'll come back over here to the F and give it one more coat. So that's the normal. And now we'll come down here. Because these are little, I'm just going to not do the moving thing, and I'll show you the moving thing on the name part of things. So with these, just give them a swirl. This is gonna be my drop shadow is in the black. Okay, so I think that's enough. See how fast that goes? I love it. Okay, we are going to peel our tape. I'm gonna leave it on the back of that. Move that for a minute and blow dry so that I don't make a mess. Okay, we bring our stencil back over. And now what I'm going to do drop shading without moving. So the way that we do it the other way is we do the drop shadow, and then we mark the base coat with the with the color that's going to be the top, like the tan, the sandstone. Then we slide the stencil over and down, and then do the black for your drop shadow. And then we put it back over on the right spot, and then we do the name again in the cream. But this time, because there's not much movement going on here, and they are little letters, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to drop it. I'm going to get it lined up first. And instead of dropping it down and off to the side, I'm going to move it up and over. And that should relieve my drop shadow. Try to do it evenly. Get another brush, and what do we use? Oh, I mixed. Okay. So get a little of this tan color and a little bit of our cream. Now you can pick up 2 colors on your brush. I'm gonna flip my brush over, flip my paper towel over, and I'm going to come over here, pick up a little of the cream, and then blend them together on the paper towel. Okay, so I'm gonna go right back on here. Now, because I'm covering black, I want to go ahead and stipple. Okay, so let's stipple. I think 2 is enough. Stipple again. Okay. And we'll pick that up. And then, ta-da! Drop shadow. Easiest thing ever. Like, it's amazing. I don't know who thought that up, but it wasn't me. But boy, when I learned it, I was sure happy. Okay, now we're gonna add the personalization. What's neat about our company is, like, we actually will etch the letters that are supposed to go under the stencil so that you can see where they sit exactly. So you don't have any second guessing on, like, where you want your lettering, and then you can ignore it if you just wanna, ignore it. So now I'm gonna show you how to do the drop shadow the right way. I say right, but I kind of don't mean it. Another way. Okay, take my tape away. Yep. All right. So get that nice and taped down. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark with the cream color. Mark the top and the bottom. And I've got way too much paint. I probably bled under. Neat thing about stenciling, yeah, if you just go ahead and swirl and don't swipe, that works way better. The neat thing about doing this for a living is I know how to fix all the dumb things I do. Okay, so that gives us a little bit of a line. You can see my generous paint did a little kind of trying to bleed. Didn't quite bleed, but it's not quite as nice as I would want it. So I can take my eraser, come right on down here, clean that puppy up. Okay, neat. All right, so now blow dryer. Since I was a pig with the paint. Too much paint is not a good thing. Okay, so now we line it back up. Yep. Line you up. And then we pull it down. We want to kind of do it all together. And then I look at the bottom to see if I've got the same amount of drop shadow, and then I'm going to slide it that direction. And then you make sure everybody's even. Put your tape back on, and now you go into your black. It really is amazing. This literally was an ugly project until I added drop shadow. It's amazing how good drop shadow makes things. Okay, so same thing. I'm going to go on here and stipple to cover. I'll do 2 letters again so it doesn't take too much time. Okay, so when you go to the YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe. I don't know about you. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and it is amazing how easy it is to lose things on YouTube. Like, I cannot find the thing that I was just watching, and you can go find your history, but like if you look up a recipe on meatloaf and then you look up something on a side of asparagus, and then you look up, you know, a Bible study on Sunday morning, and then you look up, you know, something about your broken light switch, you know, by the time you do your everyday life looking at videos and looking at the short ones and the long ones and all of that, it's gonna be buried. So if you like what you're seeing and you know you want to paint some more with us, then do the subscribe thing, because that will show like you'll have a list of the things that you like. But if you ring the bell, then it will actually notify you and say, hey, there's new content there for you to see. So I almost talked that dry, but you still have to listen to the blow dryer. Almost. All right. Now we're going to lay it back over. We find our original lines, which are the white lines. And that's why you do top and bottom, so that you can get it lined up right. When you cover it over, okay, now that brush is done, so I'll get that in water. And then I'll just kind of swirl on there and find some dry paper towel. Do the good paper towels, don't do cheap ones. The non-lint paper towels are the best. Okay, so now we're gonna stipple again. Okay, so I'm curious about what your most interesting part of this video lesson was. What's your favorite? It's always interesting, the different opinions. And those of you who have our dome brushes, if you could share like what you think of them, that would be great too. Watch yourself with the dome brushes if you're looking for them. They're not always consistently available, so if you know you want them and you're just like, oh, I'll wait until like 2 weeks from now, they may not be there. So then you're gonna have to wait. So make sure that you order how many you're gonna want, when you're gonna want them. Because they are definitely, I have a hard time buying them myself, so for you guys. Yeah, they're amazing. Okay, so that's that into the water. And then I just wash these on a ginger grater after. Okay, and so look at that drop shadow. Isn't that so stinking sharp? Like, that's amazing. It makes it look, shadowed, huh. Yeah, it's one of my favorite techniques to do with a stencil. Okay, so now let's talk about these little bead things down here. I've got a couple blanks. What you do for these, super easy. Yeah, I got everything buried. Okay, we ordered, these are like a jillion of these. These do not come with your kit, so because if you painted this in blue, these wouldn't look good. So order gold or silver or antiqued or black or whatever is gonna fit with your color scheme, okay? So you just take them, get a couple of these out, get your glasses, and then one of these little dudes is magic. These are like a little jewelry beading tool and some schmutz. Okay, and then you just open them up nice and wide. I like these, the thinner millimeter, because they are, oh, and I did them upside down. That's a good hint. I did them upside down so that they would not have the loops in the front. So then you can just do that, and then if your fingers aren't strong enough, then you just use your little jewelry things. Okay, and then they have holes in the top and the bottom so that you can then connect. What we did is we laid them out by the month, and then we made a chain for each of the months, and then we connected them after we made each chain. Okay, so that's how you put the beads on. So last chance, like, share, and comment. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm supposed to show you. I think you can wax this board to finish it after you get done painting. The spatters are done, and I think we're done. So I hope that you had a good time today, and join us next week on Tuesday, and we'll see you then.